Okay, well, I am just going to be talking about a couple of sets of crimes, and actually I'm puzzled. It's a situation that puzzles me and disappoints me and worries me. And it starts with this. There's a chap called Stephen Port who is a mass murderer, and what he took a liking to doing was, acting very badly towards homosexual young men. Now, oh, for goodness sake, I just won't monetize this. He raped and murdered a series of young men, and the point is that the police were warned that there was something odd going on when these young men all started turning up with massive amounts of drugs in their system in the same place. The bodies were dumped in the same place, and the police said, oh, they had no connection with each other. And the first one who was found, the mother said that he'd been murdered, and the police took no notice of her. Now, the problem is this. I'm going to tie it up with another situation, and that's the situation of the young women and girls, children actually, who were being raped by Pakistani gangs in various, and it's still going on, by the way. And the police took no notice of the desperate calls of their parents. And then there's another one where children have died, having been horribly mistreated by their parents and step-parents, and the police were warned and took no notice. And in every case I can think of here, they're outgroups. The children who were being mistreated were sort of generally, as far as I can make out, lower class, just generally financially disadvantaged people, let's put it that way, and possibly living chaotic lives, the parents, that is. And then these boys here who were murdered were all gay. They were all homosexual. And the girls, of course, who were raped were, generally speaking, working class kids or troubled kids or kids in care homes. In every case, the police seemed to believe that because these people were not middle class, then they didn't warrant the same attention. And I'll prove my argument by quoting the case of Sarah Everard, a young woman. I am not saying that her life was worth any more or any less than any of these people that I talked about before. But the fact is, she was a young woman of what you might call good family, with a good job and nice friends and all the rest of it, and she was horribly abducted and murdered by a monster. But the national outrage about that was phenomenal, as it should be. I'm not saying it was bad, but what I am saying is that I hadn't heard of Stephen Port or his victims before I saw this one article. There appears to be no national outrage about this. And those girls, it took 40 years for any sort of outrage about that. And frankly, the only person who's still talking about it is our friend Tony Randall. Yeah, I can't monetize this, but I don't want the video to be completely taken down. So he's the only one talking about it. And then the children who've died in misery after a few short years of miserable life, well, people get a bit annoyed about that, but it's nothing like what happened when Sarah Everard was killed. This is a problem. I don't have any answers for it, but there is definitely something wrong with the attitude of the police when this chap, Stephen Port, was completely unknown to me, having killed 4 young men. And maybe more. I don't know, this is just the 4 we know about, isn't it? And in an obvious way. And the police didn't act because they didn't know of him, but they did know that these 4 young men were homosexual, and, you know, homosexuals live dangerous lives, so let's not bother. There's definitely something wrong there. How we deal with this is another matter. I can't give you that answer. I just want to point out that it's a problem, and it's a very sad one. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Grannyopteryx design or Grambo, with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.grannyopteryx.com, and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.